The August 9th general election is a two-horse race between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. All the other 43 other aspirants are just but others. Jim Wanjigi is on ballot. Kalonzo Musyoka is not yet sure, but most likely he's going to choose either side. And this election, the next phase is going to be the rigorous campaign phase. That rigorous campaign phase is now going to be witnessed by political parties revealing their manifestos, the presidential debate on the way, then we head towards, then we go to the polls. It is a very critical phase because the opinion pollsters are showing that an average of 20% of Kenyans have not decided on either side where they're going to cast their vote. I cannot be wrong if we estimate that the 20% undecided voters are likely to decide who is going to be the winner, and if we are also going for a rerun. That is really interesting aspects that now playing out. Raila Odinga decided that it was time to pick a woman running mate, Martha Karua. William Ruto decided to pick his closest friend, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. In this video, I want us to look at the next phase because there are three aspects that are now going to where Kenyans and the media are going to focus their lenses on. We are done with the nominations of aspirants in the political parties. We are done with coalition building. Almost the window is getting closed. We are almost done with the running mates. It's just about clearing candidates. Then people go to the campaign trail. So there are three aspects that I want us to look at, and these are the ones that will then sway the undecided 20% of Kenyans. Number one of those aspects is manifesto imaging, and we're going to look at them. Number two is counter narratives, and number three is perception. So before we look at these three, I was just following the Narok rally, and when I was just trying to do my research on these three aspects, I got this video here. Now I wanted to wait a bit here.
Mpaka Kisumu dala. Mtakuwa na nini? Alafu hiyo ni nini hiyo? Oh, hiyo ni Ikulu. Hiyo ni Ikulu. Padi Martha.
Now, interesting with that video, it was very interesting one, because it is just I think it was made by boxers. Actually, it was done by a university student from my former university, not my former, from my university. I studied in Masai Mara University. I'm an alumnus of Masai Mara University in Narok. So the Narok rally, Lentimama Stadium rally was very keen. I was very keen on that rally. So the euphoria around that, they brought in, and Raila was saying, give it to Martha, acha tupige picha mbele ya this state house. And I found that imaging very positive. We are going to revisit that video, and that is why I decided to play it for you. Now, there are one thing these three aspects are going to decide, and I will now look at both candidates based on these three. Campaign imaging. What is the score of Raila Odinga in this? And what is the score of William Ruto in this? Campaign imaging, manifesto imaging is, in politics, you might have a very attractive and in-depth manifesto on what you want to do for Kenyans, but the difference between there is one thing to have the manifesto, there is the other thing to make sure that it is received. So for people to know and receive what you are doing, Manifesto is not delivered. Manifesto is not published in the newspaper. That's not what it's going to make it be known. It is not all about the broadcasting. It's about imaging. How, when people see, how do people relate to the manifesto? Now, here, Raila Odinga has a good score because I want us to look at three of his now manifestos. That's one. One is the 6,000 pledge. The 6,000 pledge is being imaged as, and it was being imaged as a personal hope to someone when he was in Kisumu, saying that it's going to even help the young mothers, people who maybe you got someone, you got married, then the man ran away and left with the child. That was covering single mothers or widows. Maybe you had, and your wife, your husband got married you, some point left. You know, that is how Raila has created very beautiful stories around his manifestos. That is the 6,000 pledge. It has been so much personalized. The other one is the recognition of prior learning. Recognition of prior learning is not to base, especially it's for targeting the Juakali sector, that they can secure jobs, not necessarily on the paperwork, but on the skills they have. This is something that someone in the Juakali sector, mtu anatengeneza gari mahali, or people who are in that industry, they can relate with it very perfectly, because at one point they want to they want to increase, or rather they want to develop the performance appraisal criteria in that industry does not exist. So if you tell them this is something that they buy and it sinks. That is one that I also pick. The other one is Mama Care and Baba Care, honestly. And look at you saying Baba Care, Mama Care. First, it customizes the Baba name, because Raila already has a name Baba. Then it's captured as something that a parent is supporting you. So on that, I have personally actually embraced, appreciated the way. Let's look at Ruto's side. Ruto's side has had their manifesto on billions. We are going to tender 10 billion to this women group. I don't know the word fund and all that. It's a very good manifesto, but as I once mentioned here, who knows what 10 billion looks like? People, you are talking to people who have never even seen 1 million, so they don't understand. It doesn't relate, it doesn't sync. But I want to buy a concept from the Rigathi Gachagua. I think in the whole Kenya Kwanza team, the only person that has gotten it right on delivering that, imaging that manifesto is Rigathi Gachagua. When Gachagua says, and I think he was speaking in Nyeri, that tutatengeneza ile barabara from that market X to this place, so that watu ambao wanabeba wanapeleka tea to the market, they will find a way. If you are telling some that nikitengeneza hii barabara, you'll be in a position to transport your product from place X to place Y, I buy, I relate, because I see someone who is empathizing with my need. And for that, I think Rigathi Gachagua is the only person that has gotten it right. On the issue of the billion, the other one, interesting, when I was discussing with a friend, when you tell, with Mudavadi to tell Western Kenya that they're going to get 30% of government, honestly, who knows the size of government in Western Kenya? So that if you tell them 30%, they will be like, we're going to go to vote for Mudavadi because of 30%. They don't even know, and I'm not saying there is high level of ignorance. Okay, let's even ask, if I tell you I'll give you 20% of government, what do you understand? What do you know? Is it like 2 ministers? Or is it like, you know? And that is why when Raila said, Paranya for finance, people know finance, money. Okay, it sinks there. But then 30%, someone will sit down and start decoding. 30%, what is it? So you can also do your own rating there. But on campaign imaging, I think Raila has an upper hand compared to Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Let's look at the counter narratives. This one, Raila Odinga campaign team have not paid attention to. And I think as we head towards, as they head towards the August 9th, they need to look at this very critical. Because narratives, counter narratives is, in other words, narratives are messages and propaganda. They are lies. Actually, most of these narratives are narratives I've just brought in so that they can blanket lies. narrative is just a lie that is packaged in some piece of in a paper bag. So let's look at two, and these two I captured, and you can challenge me. When leaders leave, and let's just pick Alfred Mutua and Pa Amason Kingi, and I think even now Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is talking about this, that Azimio power sharing deal is a high secret, and Azimio La Umoja is just an amorphous group, and they don't tend to want to help Kenyans and all that. This narrative is sinking. And do you know why? I was listening to Kithure Kindiki in an interview at Citizen, and Kithure Kindiki confirmed that he has seen the power sharing document of Azimio La Umoja. The governor for Makueni, that is Professor Kivuda Kibwana, was saying he has that document, and in that live interview he was telling Veronica Maina, the Secretary General of UDA, that when they come out of the studio, he's willing to go and give him that document. When registrar, I think IBC, a leader, it was either Dan Maunzo or a Wiper leader, went to Andere to seek that document. He was told that Junet Mohammed has the document. All the parties has the document. So the truth of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen. Alfred Mutua, Amason Kingi, and Kalonzo Musyoka, they have the Azimio power sharing document. But because you have to get a narrative, because even if you cross over to Kenya Kwanza, they will be like, okay, what are you adding? They will always ask you, where utakuja, where utaika porojo gani, utaenda na porojo gani. They formulated this. But then there's a new team are the ones that are saying, they only say, look here, hawa ni waongo, wanadanganya. But you don't counter by saying what I expect, and this is what the Azimio strategists should actually say. They should go to a rally and say, wasiwadanganye kwamba that thing is secret. This is here. They can go and show people this is the paper, and even give it to media. It is something that is available. It is not a high secret. So that is something that is there. Because I realized if Kivuda Kibwana is having it, it means all the journalists are having it. In fact, even someone was telling me, Kevin, I can send it to you in soft copy, and I'm hoping that before the end of the week I'll get it. That's the narrative. Two is Tapeli, and this was I captured this from Alfred Mutua, that viongozi walitapeli viongozi, how about Kenyans? And even when they went to Kalonzo Musyoka's home in Kitui, this is what they said. They said that Kalonzo ametapeliwa, I don't know who ametapeliwa. So if they con leaders, what can they do to Kenyans? Oh, Raila Odinga. Oh, Makamu. That is a very heavy narrative that you cannot just let to go. You must find a counter. Countering is either way, you face directly or you do diversion, where you bring in something else. That is something that is here. And if they have captured, what I want is positive criticism on this analysis. Lastly is perception. Perception. By the way, because of perception, it had to be Martha Karua. Perception, it had to be Martha Karua. Martha Karua was brought in, basically also another one for this, because look at the drama that had been around Kalonzo Musyoka. Even if you were to hand that ticket to Kalonzo Musyoka, even Raila Odinga's supporters and Azimio supporters they would not be that happy, because opinions would be divided. Why him? Why not? Why that? Why this? But Martha Karua came in as a very clean pair of hand, someone that was not highly polarized, and it seems Azimio La Umoja supporters embraced her. That perception is very important. And I have realized one thing, when these Azimio cracks happen, one thing that happens, one thing that people come out is like when Mutua left, person, Kalonzo Musyoka, there is this narrative of they don't have votes. I find it, honestly, I don't find it constructive. It's not constructive, just say he doesn't have votes, he doesn't have votes. So if everyone else will leave, he doesn't have votes. The other day, Lord Abraham Mutai was asking, which kind of glue does William Ruto have that all these cracks within UD happens but no one leaves? I want you to look at this. Perception is why Ketu Aruguru lost in the UDA nominations, and William Ruto called her in Karen and handed her a UDA nomination slot, so that she's going to be nominated as a member of parliament, because she mentioned that she's going to be back in parliament. She's going to be sworn in before even the rest of those other aspirants are sworn in. It is because of perception that Mwaura lost and Jaguar, they lost in the nominations, and they were really brought back because William Ruto did not want a situation where these leaders leave, and when they leave, there will be a perception that they were actually they were rigged out. That the notion that they were rigged out will remain painted, or rather will stick in the minds of people who support these leaders. So imagine if William Ruto would say that, Ketu Aruguru, I'm not giving you a nomination slot, if you like, go. Do you think the UDA supporters will then come and say Ketu Aruguru doesn't have votes? Maybe, likely, she doesn't have votes. The truth, yes. Even Mwaura does not have enough votes. The votes that Mwaura can pull, William Ruto as a person can pull. Jaguar and Waruguru, the votes that they can bring in the table, those votes even William Ruto can bring. But he had to bring them together and hold into that house because of having a good perception. Let me just give you a short story. In 2017, just a reminder, I used to work in the media stations around Longong Road. So I captured Azimio rallies. One was in Kajiado, the other one was the last one at Uhuru Park. I was at Uhuru Park. And remember the 10 million strong. The 10 million strong was a message of hope to create a perception amongst the minds of voters that, look here, if we all go to vote, we are going to win this election. And if indeed they won that election, then it was won on that ground. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I did not do quantification, but then you can also look and let's just have a very solid and mature discussion about this in the comment section. And who knows, maybe from what you're saying, we can also have an idea of how this can be developed in my next analysis.